Anyway, let's move forward. Tonie Wickman,
Yes.
Non-Haz City Project Coordinator from the City of Stockholm, so one of the other organizers of the conference as well. The floor is
Yes.
yours, please.
Can you hear me? Yes, good.
We get some help. Oh, great.
And thank you very much for inviting me to present this project. It has been an honor to be here, or it is an honor. Okay, let's see if it starts. Yes, it does. Okay, I will tell you a little bit about the project that I am project manager of, and it's called the Non-Haz City Project. And the idea of this project is that the cities of the Baltic Sea countries, they will be without hazardous substances in a few years. We hope so. Okay, so I will give you some ideas about strategies that we are working on to decrease the emissions of hazardous substances. See if it works like this. Yes. So very short first, why cities? As you know, most of you know that consumption is an important source of hazardous substances. And as cities have a lot of inhabitants, there is a lot of consumption. And so we will get a lot of hazardous substances from the cities. And these hazardous substances seem to be a threat to the Baltic Sea. But I will also say that for the municipalities, it's not just a question of the emissions to the Baltic Sea. Then we would probably focus a lot on treatment facilities or wastewater treatment. But it is also a question of health. The people that live in the cities will get these substances in their bodies, and part of them will go out through the body and come to the wastewater, but there could also be health effects for the people living there. So our idea is also that municipalities, we have legislation, we can focus on that. But we also believe that municipalities can take action, and they should take action if they can. And as we have heard a lot, procurement is an important issue for municipalities, and I will come back to that. So we have a long name for this project, Innovative Management Solutions for Minimizing Emissions of Hazardous Substances from Urban Areas in the Baltic Sea region. So it's a long name, and we have municipalities involved in this project from Sweden, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Germany, and since a few weeks we also have 2 Belarusian municipalities involved in this project due to Swedish Institute funds. So that is, and I would also like to say this is also a flagship project. So we had this, we won this, or we were decided to be a flagship project a year ago. And this project started about a year ago, so we have now 2 years left. Okay, so it's one, if you see this map here, it's Västerås and Stockholm in Sweden. We have Turku in Finland. We have Pärnu in Estonia. We have Riga in Latvia, and we have a small city, Chilale, by the coast there from Lithuania, and Kaunas, a bigger city, a little bit further in Lithuania. And then we have Gdansk in Poland. And then we have Hamburg and Lübeck in Germany in this project. And they are not all partners, but they are involved in different ways. So what is the idea? How do we do? The crucial thing is to have a strategy or a plan for how to work with chemical issues in the municipality. And actually Stockholm we developed a chemical, it was decided to work according to a chemical action plan already 2-3 years ago. And so we have already a plan, but we need to develop this further and concretize things there. And we actually have to make actions. So we use this. And what we do is also to inspire the other municipalities to develop such strategic, concrete documents for their municipalities, which is very new thing for most of these municipalities. And in this, it is a question of finding out about sources, prioritize, because you can't start everywhere with all things at the same time. You have to wait, or you have to prioritize, take action in for some areas first. And when you have when you prioritize, you also have to map the stakeholders that are involved in the specific area and the users, and you also have to find out about what are the obstacles, what are the barriers to come further if there is some. And describe these, and then a lot of work is about raising the awareness, raise knowledge, and motivate these stakeholders for actions. So what did we do already? We analyzed wastewater, and stormwater, and sludge for different substances. And as you can see, we also have some pharmaceuticals, but that is not the main focus. But we will also work a little bit on that kind of sources that emits or the actions that could prohibit some of those emissions. But for most countries, these substances were not earlier analyzed. Of course, the metals have been analyzed for a while, but most organic substances were not analyzed before. So it is a way to open up the eyes in these municipalities that they have these kind of substances. Then we have also analyzed indoor sources. And as you might have noticed in the earlier picture about the Stockholm Chemical Action Plan, it was children on it. And most municipalities decided to focus on children. And that is partly because children are the most vulnerable group when it comes to hazardous substances, and also because most municipalities are controlling schools, they have preschools, kindergartens, so they care about the children, and it's important to know how. So we have analyzed a lot of indoor sources from preschools, and we found a lot of chemicals in old articles and materials that are 2 minutes left, thank you. And we also analyzed new products just to know whether these substances are still occurring in new products that we procure. So I will just give you some idea about what it is about when it comes to procurement, which all of us decided was one of the main issues. We have to find out who is responsible for a bottle containing a hazardous chemical. How did it end up in the hands of this municipal employee? And then you have to map who are the stakeholders, and it can be quite complex. So let's see, the animations are very slow here. Try to make it faster. Okay, so we have different stakeholders. The user is just one of them. We have suppliers, we have decision makers in between. And you have to map the role of different stakeholders in the municipality. Okay, but we don't just work with the municipal units and what we can do. We also work with enterprises and service providers in the municipality. And this is important as these provide materials for the inhabitants. They decide what we use. So this is also important. We work with hairdressers, car repairing and cleaning facilities, shops, refurbishment and building companies and so on. Okay, and we also work with the inhabitants, because if no one asks for products that have a better chemical content, the shops that sell these products, they will not sell them. So it's important to work on all different levels. So we work on these ones, and this, you haven't heard much about it probably, because this is in the starting part. And now I have my last slide, and that is what we think that we will get from this project. We think that we'll get chemical action plans in all partner municipalities. We will absolutely increase the awareness and behavior, and hopefully also lead to behavior change. We think we will get motivated professionals and inhabitants. And we also, the idea is also to inspire other municipalities. So this is, as we have municipalities in each country, we produce materials in the original languages. So we are spreading around within each country from these pilot municipalities, so to say. So I would just like to say thanks. And I have also a place where you can find more and discuss with us about this project. And as you see, we are a lot of people involved, and a lot of cities and universities and others involved in this project. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You want me to stay? 2 minutes.
No, I know. But, you don't try to get away from the questions. That's when the tricky part. So anyone who would like to ask a question about this presentation, I understand it's quite new, the program, but still, if there is no one, I can ask you a question while they are thinking a bit on the harder one. You have a big bunch of cities being part of this. We are all in the Baltic Sea region. We are talking a lot about common actions and so on, a common vision and so on. What would you say about that in terms of the practical challenges of collaborating across so many different cities? When you meet with other cities, do we have a common vision? Is there a common understanding? Is there a common concern similar to what we face here in Stockholm? Or are there big differences when you try to build these regional networks? Mm-hmm.
I would say that a few years ago, we didn't have a common understanding. But it has changed, and it changes fast. So I think that all the municipalities, of course, that are involved, they are very eager to take action, and they really want to change these things. Mm. But for most, as I said, these chemical analysis that we now have from their wastewater and so on, those showed more problems than they thought they had. So it was an important part of this.
Because I guess that in some of these cities still, even though, well, not Belarus, of course, now, but all the other countries are members of the EU, same sort of legal system, but we still have different abilities to upgrade treatment plants and so on. Are there worries about what economic...
I would say that for most countries, they don't have the money to upgrade their wastewater treatment plants. So for them, working upstream is even more important. And also, I would say that the municipalities, they are very eager to do something, but they didn't know much about what they had for, and they don't have the knowledge yet as much as maybe we have that have worked with this for a long time about where to find these substances. So they would like to look into different chemical products and read the ingredient lists, while we work more with products like this.
Okay. Anyone opened up for a question on this one? Okay, I'll let you pass this time. If this happens again, there is no coffee break for you. So just so you know, we have to have some pressure, but you will still have a ship trip, at least.
Nice.
So that's not bad.
Thank
A warm
you.
applause.